Hello, period 8. So you thought you did not have class with me today. Joke is on you. I am here in spirit. So today we are gonna start with doing a little bit of notes, but in the practice packet. So let's go to practice packet, page 1 and 2. Today we're gonna focus mainly on page 1, and then I'm gonna have you try doing only the radians part on that page 2. Okay, let's get started. So this is called the trig circle, or we can also call it our unit circle. Today we're only going to focus on the angles in degrees and in radians. So class on Monday, we focused on how to convert degrees to radians. So this, I know there was some confusion, this is just going to pull it all together. Okay, so if I'm looking at the circle, we're always going to start with our initial part right there. We mentioned that in the Twizzler activity. We're always going to start with 0 degrees right there. Up here, that's our 90 degrees. Over there, we got our 80 degrees. Down under, we have 270 degrees. And then full circle, this is also going to be 360 degrees. Now, when we're looking at the unit circle, if we have our positive angles, we're always going to go counterclockwise, okay? All right, next up, half of 90. If we take half of 90, this is going to give us this angle right here. This is going to be our 45-degree angle. Okay, if we did the same thing, if we were looking at this angle right here, all we have to do is just add 45. So then we would get 135. Okay. Again, adding 45 to that side, we would get to 25 degrees. Add 45, that would give us 270 degrees. Add 45, this would give us 315 degrees. And add 45, and that would give us to the 360 degrees, okay? Notice that all of our 45-degree angles, they end with a 5, right? We have 5, oops, I was erasing it. We have 5, 5, 5, 5. So keep that in note, okay? And here with our unit circle or trig circle, we're gonna find all these patterns where it's just gonna be easy for us to memorize all this stuff. Okay, let's go to the 30 degrees. So I'm gonna say right here, we got our 30 degrees right there. What do we think this next angle would be? That would be our 60-degree angle, okay. Up here we have 120 degrees. We got 150 degrees. Okay, we got, what is that, 210? 210 degrees. We have 240 over there. We have 300. I'm just adding 30 from here, and then this gives us 30 degrees. Okay, cool. So now we have that all filled in. Now we could start putting in our radians. So to start off, when we have this initial starting point right here at 0 degrees, this is going to be 0 radians. Now notice that when we are labeling our degrees, we have our degree symbol. Radians doesn't have any unit, so it's just going to be 0. All right, on notes, we ended notes on Monday saying that 90 degrees is our pi over 2, okay? Figure that out. This was one of the 17, I think, that we have to memorize. So we have pi over 2. If we were to look at 180 degrees, what do we think that would be? We have 90 degrees, and then we go to 180 degrees. So we're just doubling this pi over 2. So 80 degrees is going to give us pi radians, okay? Now what about 360 degrees from that 180 degrees? Again, we are just doubling it. So 360 degrees is going to give us 2 pi. Now in between 180 degrees and 360 degrees, we have our 270 degrees. So this one is just going to do 3 pi over 2 radians. Pretty much this whole entire unit circle or trig circle is just playing with fractions. All right, next up, let's focus on our 45-degree angles right over here. So 45 degrees is half of 90 degrees. So we're taking half of that pi over 2. So 45 degrees is going to give us pi over 4. And now we are just counting by 1/4. So 135 degrees, this would give us, what is that, 3 pi over 4. Because we're adding 1/4 there, we're adding 1/4 there. Okay. 225 degrees, this is going to give 5 pi over 4. 315 degrees is going to give us 7 pi over 4. And again, we're just adding. This really is going to be a 4 pi over 4, and that just reduces to our pi, right? The 4's cancel out. Okay, then we're adding 1/4 here, so that gives us the 5 pi over 4. Again, we're adding 1/4 there, so that's actually going to be 6 pi over 4, but we can reduce that down to that 3 pi over 2, right? We're adding again 1/4, so that was originally 6 pi over 4, adding 1/4, that gives us the 7 pi over 4. All right, we got the 45-degree angles out of the way. Let's now move to 60 degrees. 60 degrees, if we did our conversion factor, so we had the 60 degrees times the pi over 180, this would just give us a pi over 3. So 60 degrees is a pi over 3. Now let's look at 120. What is the relationship between 60 degrees and 120? We're just doubling it, right? So this gives us 2 pi over 3. Oops. Okay. What about 240 given that 60-degree angle? What do we think? We just have to multiply by 4, right? So this gives us a 4 pi over 3. And the next reference angle, we're going to look at 300. Let's go back to that reference angle of 60 degrees. To get from 60 to 300, we just got to multiply by 5. So that's going to give us a 5 pi over 3. Almost done. We have one more radian measurement to do. Now we have our pi over 6. Just a quick mental note. With our 60 degrees, we get the pi over 3. With the 30 degrees, we get the pi over 6. So really, in this case, our 3's and 6 switch. So 60 degrees would not be pi over 6. It would actually be pi over 3. And we have 30 degrees would actually be pi over 6. All right, so we have pi over 6. Given our reference angle of 30 degrees, let's look at that 150 degrees. So what would we have to multiply 30 degrees by to get to 150? We just multiply by 5. So this gives us 5 pi over 6. Okay, now we have the 210 degrees at a reference angle of 30 degrees. We just multiply 30 degrees by 7 to get the 210. So then this would be 7 pi over 6. Okay, now we have our next degree measurement, which is 330 degrees. From 30 degrees to get to 330 degrees, we just multiply 11. So this one would be 11 pi over 6. And that's it, okay? So just memorize how we got this, and all we have to do to make our lives a little bit easier during this whole entire course of pre-calculus is to memorize this trig circle. All right, last but not least, just try filling out this portion right there, right over here, this radian part, given our degrees, our theta, into our getting our radians. Try filling it out without referring back to page 1 and without using conversions. So now we want to ditch the conversion factors and just try memorizing this for our quiz on Friday. All right, have a great Wednesday.